Good morning.
Good morning.
Members of the Board of Trustees, Bishop McKenzie, President Sorrell, Dr. Grant, Lori Price, our distinguished guests, Dr. William H. Cosby, members of the faculty and administration, family, friends, and my fellow graduates. I am honored to stand in front of you today to deliver the valedictorian speech for the class of 2013. First, I would like to congratulate my fellow graduates for not allowing anything to hinder you from achieving something that so many have not or were not able to achieve. Your own hard work and dedication has allowed you to see this day. I would also like to thank President Sorrell for showing us as students how to not only be leaders in our professions and at home, but also to be leaders in our community as well. I would like to thank each one of my professors individually, Professor White, Dr. Green, Professor Bukarami, Professor Primus, Ms. Matthews, Professor Denson, Ms. McIntosh, and Dr. Grant. Each of you have imparted something in me that I will take with me in whatever path that life sets before me. I would also like to thank Dean West and Dean Thompson for giving me the support and encouragement that I needed to keep pushing forward. And last but certainly not least, I want to thank you, my family. You have always supported and inspired me to reach my goals. To Sandria, Chris, Damone, Trayvon, Taj, and Jamal, I love each of you dearly. The moment I received the notification from Dr. Grant that I would be the valedictorian of my senior class, I began to ask myself, what can I say to my fellow graduates? After sitting in my room for a few days, trying to collect my thoughts, I came up with nothing. So after reflecting back on my own personal life, I decided to first share with you the story of a few remarkable individuals who had a rocky start in life but came out on top because they chose to succeed. First, let me begin with sharing with you a story of an American president, Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln was a man who failed in business at the age of 21. His sweetheart died at the age of 26. He had a nervous breakdown at the age of 27. He was defeated in 8 different elections, and yet he became the 16th president of the United States. Walt Disney faced many setbacks in his career. He was fired from a newspaper who told him that he had lacked imagination and original ideas. Later, his concept of Disneyland was rejected by the city of Anaheim, and he was bankrupt several different times. While they said he had no talent, Walt Disney became one of the biggest creators on the face of the earth. One last person, Michael Jeffrey Jordan, as we all know, Air Jordan, was told as a sophomore guard in high school that he wasn't tall enough and that his defense was mediocre to be on the varsity basketball team. He was assigned to the JV basketball team, and he completely dominated not only the JV league, but he also went on to dominate college, and he became recognized as the greatest NBA player to ever lace up a pair of sneakers. So why am I telling you all these stories? In the coming days, everyone will be asking you, what are you going to do next? As I see it, we as graduates have 2 choices. We can choose to survive only to get by, or we can choose to succeed. Now, to my fellow graduates, who I look among you, I see future doctors, future educators, future lawyers, future entrepreneurs, future executives. Let us choose this day to flourish and to succeed only as Quinnites know how to do. The hardest thing for me as an individual, personally, is 4 years ago, I had went through the unfortunate event of burying my 7-year-old son, Jamal. Due to cerebral palsy, I often watched and heard health professionals tell our family what Jamal would and would not be able to do in life. I often remember taking him by the hands and trying to get him to walk when they said he would never walk. I would talk to him even though it was said he would never talk. I remember receiving a call from my wife towards the end of my work shift one morning telling me that my son was not breathing. I immediately left work and drove 90 miles per hour. Thank God the police weren't nowhere around. 90 miles per hour to get home to find my son lying on the floor with a sheet over his body. I felt my whole world had then at that point caved in. I had recently, 3 weeks prior to that, just enrolled back into college. After the passing of my son, I withdrew from school, not knowing or even believing when I would start the process over again to obtain my degree. A full year later, I enrolled into college, and I can stand here today and tell you, I never looked back. My son was and still is my biggest inspiration.
Go, John.
Because I saw him never give up. I chose to never give up. He taught me not to allow excuses to be the reason I don't make the effort to go after my goals and my dreams. Upon coming to Paul Quinn College, I didn't know what to expect. All I knew that I was coming here to receive both my degree and to graduate with a high GPA. But I got so much more out of my experience than that. I saw firsthand a college that not only believed in its mission, but also one that was active and dedicated to the community. I had the pleasure of achieving something much greater than just a degree. As I prepare to take my seat, I leave you, my fellow graduates, my classmates, with this short poem, which is entitled Excuses by author unknown. Excuses are tools of the weak and incompetent, used to build monuments of nothingness. Those who excel in it seldom excel in anything but excuses. Don't allow circumstances or situations to block you from your dreams. Thank you, and God bless.
Wow.
Thank you, Bishop and John, for those wonderful words. And I just want to say, John, that was one of the most heartfelt valedictorian speeches that I've ever heard. And I think he deserves a I'm just going to go out on a limb and say, that's your family? Welcome. At this point in the program, we're going to do our institutional award. We first would like to recognize any and all elected officials who are with us today.